So I am at IAA Munich 2025, and let's have a quick look around what sort of industry players are right now over here and what are they presenting. So let's have a look. It's Friday, so that's why you will not see a lot of people over here today. And I strategically chose not to record it on Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday because it was so overly crowded. So this is more like the theme of this exhibition. It's all software-defined vehicles. It's all probably around autonomous driving and also AI. But let's have a look around what are the players that are present over here. So right now I'm at the stall of EVE Energy or EVE Energy, and let me show you what do they produce. They're producing these cells, but I think the ones that are really interesting are these ones. So these are the LFP battery cells, cylindrical ones, as well as the NCM battery cells. And they have some robot also working overtime, I would say, over here. Nice one. Hello. And this is one of the really cool battery packs, I would say. Let's see the specs of it. It has a range of around 800 kilometers. The electricity, the kilowatt hours that it can deliver is around 109.7. It's going to fast charge at 15 minutes. These are the cylindrical cells, and I'm pretty sure I know which car it is. It should be the BMW iX3 Neue Klasse, because what I've seen is that it's using the 4695 cells, the NCM, and the way to recognize is Tesla has 4680, but it has one-sided cooling. Whereas over here, we can see that it's being cooled from two sides. So there's one, let's say, fin going around here, and the other plate, let's say one curved plate is going around this side, the other one is coming over here. So this is really, really nice technology, I would say. And what do we have over here? It's more like the other, these are smaller battery packs, I would say. Yes, they are. This was the interesting one, actually. It was a smaller one. Let's see, I read earlier it had, 9 kilowatt hours battery pack. But let's see the really nice ones. Over here we can see there are different sort of battery cells. Yeah, these are the 21700. But what I know is that BMW iX3 Neue Klasse is sort of using this one. It's a 4695 NCM cell, but it's more like a standard configuration. So this is the technology I was trying to explain. So if the customer requires, okay, I don't like the discharge rate of these cells, if the customer says, I really want the energy density to be higher, or I want the power to be higher as well, they can also request for it. And in this way, they can get what they were really requesting for. So it's more like a customizable version of these cells. Coming over here, I thought the battery cell manufacturer are more like the CATL, I would say, or also the BYDs. But this is the first time I've heard about EVE Energy, and to their credit, one of the biggest achievements of BMW iX3 Neue Klasse that I really like is the charging power. It's 800 kilometers range, and also it's the first BMW to charge with 400 kilowatts because it is on the 800 volt architecture. That's an amazing thing, I would say. And else over here is that they can manufacture as well the LFP batteries. So they do not only manufacture for the passenger cars, but they can also manufacture for commercial vehicles. Check out later the website of EVE Energy, because I think you will find interesting stuff over there as well. So now we are looking at some charger manufacturer, Vestel. So they have really cool types of chargers, but to be honest, this exhibition was not really for the charger manufacturer. It was more for the automotive sector, autonomous vehicles, software-defined vehicles, because the stand of charger manufacturers were relatively empty, I would say. So these are the chargers from Vestel. I've seen their chargers before, but I think they have revamped the charger design. Let's see. So this is the 400 kilowatt charger. It has a really nice display, not going to lie. And also the cable management system is the current what industry is using. I'm not sure what to call it, but this is also kind of standard now. They're using it. Also, when we look at other type of chargers, so they have a 40 kilowatt charger, they have an 80 kilowatt charger as well. Dual cables, I think. Yeah, these are the dual cables. This could be for the bus and depots, but they are also introducing a megawatt charger. They have also a dispenser type of solution, which means the power unit should be somewhere at the back. It seems like they are using 40 kilowatt power units based on the powers I can see right now. They also have AC wall boxes. Yeah, it's not really a nice time, I would say, for the AC market business because how the industry has developed in Germany. But what I was not aware of is that Vestel is not only just producing the chargers, they are making really beautiful cockpit designs. And this was, let's say, something new for me. I thought Vestel was just there for production of EV chargers. So that's good to see. So this is Rimac. Also, they are presenting some battery pack over here. Fully customizable, contains thermal runaway at the cell level. Probably because they have introduced this layer, I would say, to reduce the thermal runaway. The battery capacity is like 100 kilowatt hours. It's going to be NMC 4695 also. So these are the same cells size at least with like the BMW Neue Klasse. Okay, I missed one thing. So they are evolution and next gen. So they have cylindrical cell as well as pouch or cell to pack. Is this one? Perhaps, I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like. But over there it has solid state. Both are 100 kilowatt hours battery pack, but we can see the weight is 470 kilograms. Over here it's 384 kilograms. What else? Yeah, the technology is available by Q4 2027 and it's going to be available by Q2 2026. But are they manufacturing? I'm not sure right now. I need to research it, to be honest. So let's have a look at this car, Linktour. It's a small compact city wagon or city car, I would say. These are the specifications of it. So they have two versions, LXE, and it has 7.2 kilowatt hours of battery. This one has 320 liters of space, but the cool thing is it has a 5-inch digital instrument cluster and also 10-inch multimedia touchscreen. And another thing was that it's an electric car. And how do I open? Let's look at the trunk. I think the trunk is generously spaced. I mean, it looks nice, I would say. But this car can only is allowed to drive at 45 kilometers per hour. That's the speed limit for this. And this is the bigger version, I would say. It's Linktour Helm Ai or Helm Ai Elite L7E. So over here, they have 12.96 kilowatt hours of battery. But the rest of the things, I think they're kind of same, but it has also the ABS. And this one can travel up to 90 kilometers per hour. And as you can see, it has really nice infotainment touchscreen and really nice colors, I would say. The design, I really find it's more like smart, but it's kind of really beautiful looking smart, I would say. Let's look how the build quality is. And yeah, kind of like it actually. It has enough space. And the steering wheels feel kind of good. Let's see. Yeah, it was a really nice one. I forgot to mention the Helm Ai Elite or the L7E. They are estimating to price around 15,000 euros. The other one will be around 10,000 or under 10,000 euros. But these cars are really lightweight. What I've heard that they have manufactured these cars with a full aluminium body, which means that the weight without battery, I think, is around 450 kilograms or something lower than that. So it's really lightweight cars, and with the battery, even with the battery, I don't think so it will be that heavy, like 600 kilograms perhaps maximum. But yeah, with the price proposition they're offering, I'm surprised. And it was really looking good, I would say. Now I'm at the stall of BMW, and the reason we are showing this beautiful classic car, the BMW 1500 or 1500, is you must remember these grills, what I'm going to talk about. Let's move on to the next shot. And this is the reason I wanted to explain, because they are linking these grills with their evolution, how they have evolved over time for their grills. And this is the BMW iX3 50X Drive. And yes, the battery we have seen recently, it was from EV Energy, and the price point is 84 or 85,000 euros. But it includes 19% value-added tax as well. And this shows how well this car was basically received at this exhibition. Everybody is lining up and queuing up to see this car. And I'm not sure if I will get the time to watch it. Perhaps I will try it later. But you can see the amount of good reception that BMW iX3 Neue Klasse got. The reason because that's really one of their flagship model, I would say. They have completely built the car from scratch. It's a software-defined vehicle. It's the first BMW which has an 800-volt battery architecture. It's the first one where they are going above 100 kilowatt hours of battery. I think it's around 109 kilowatt hours battery, something around on the net side. It can charge with 400 kilowatts. It has a range of 800 kilometers. And also it is using cylindrical cells. I think before that they were using more predominantly the prismatic cells. And the battery manufacturer, what I've heard, is Eve Energy. So they have done plenty of work and I'm pretty happy for it. I've seen so many articles over the last few years where people are hammering down the German OEMs, like where is German giant sleeping, what is happening. And I really believe that this car has the potential to make it or break it for BMW, because I don't think so they could have done anything better than that, because these are extraordinary specs, I would say. I will try to have a look at the interior because I've heard that it's also pretty nice. But the queue is too long. Let's see when I get the chance for it. These are some hybrids they have over here, some gasoline cars that they have, but nothing is attracting as much attention as the BMW iX3 Neue Klasse. And I'm coming on the last day, I would say, of my time over here on Friday, when it was not the heaviest populated day, but still you will find incredible amount of queue. In the meantime, I'm waiting in the queue to test the car and to have a look. Let's try to look at the exterior, I would say. It looks beautiful. Not going to lie. The color seems beautiful. In fact, the lights also. Not sure what's the trunk size, perhaps around 450 liters. I think so that's too much, but I think for the private consumer it's going to look really nice. Let's see how does it open. It looks pretty nice. The materials feel quite premium, I would say. And let's have a seat at the back. Wow. The amount of space that I have while sitting over here is pretty nice. The amount of headroom is also pretty nice. This is the amount of headroom I have. So I'm 5'10" or 175 centimeters and I'm sitting quite comfortably. And even if you try to see the space that I have over here, it's quite nice, and seats feel also pretty premium. Look from the back. How does the infotainment system look like? That's pretty nice. Before sitting in this car, I did not realize that they have a 3D panel or an LCD screen over there. From the driver's side all the way up to the passenger side, showing all the information cluster over there. Let's see how the steering feels. It looks different, I would say. Not used to this sport type of steering wheel. The buttons in the interior feel quite premium. But the thing I really liked is this panoramic display or information driver cluster. And also over here we have the infotainment touchscreen. This has a BMW. Let me just see. Okay, this should be the recordings. Doors. Okay, change the color and lighting. With the information cluster change, I think yes. No, it's sport dynamic. And you can play the games. Alright, it looks nice. And then I think you can charge the phone as well over here. And then you have two USB-C outlets. And really nice space. So that was pretty much it. I recently talked to some Chinese engineers who are working in Germany. They told me that the iX3 they see has a lot of potential. The technical specs of this car is something that the Chinese customer will find really attractive, not just the technical specs, let me take it back. Also the infotainment system and also the 3D digital information cluster and everything that BMW has done about this car. They're pretty sure that this car was going to perform really well in China. The only condition they said the price has to be like half or something, and this needs to be drastically lower, but they have really high hopes for BMW with this Neue Klasse. BMW's brought over here is their hydrogen car, BMW iX5 Hydrogen. And they have brought the hydrogen fueling station as well. Let's have a look at it. How does it look? So this is the BMW hydrogen station, but to To be honest, I am not sure are they bringing the hydrogen vehicles just for the sake of it, just to show that this technology exists, because we know what are the discussions right now. On the policy level in Europe, is this going to be 2035 ban on cars? Today it will be decided. I do not know what's the decision right now it is. But perhaps they are trying to show alternative technology, because whenever they were trying to, or anybody was trying basically in automotive industry, were trying to say that there are other technologies, let's give some time or different technologies, or everybody was saying technology Offenheit. They were like, okay, let's open for different technologies. And the idea was e-fuels, and also perhaps because of it is over there. Not sure, because what I've heard from all the automotive makers, nobody has trust in hydrogen vehicles in the passenger car segment. It's kind of a dead segment, I would say. The only thing that people were trying to force was the truck segment, I would say. But even on the truck segment, it hasn't been successful, because the main issue is not the vehicle itself, it's the fueling storage system, and nobody has been able to really perfect it. I remember around 16, 17 years ago, I saw an episode of Top Gear while I was back in Pakistan, and the person, Jeremy Clarkson, basically said that the company who will find how to store hydrogen fuel will make a fortune, because that will be the technology. And this is like 2008, and now we're still here, and we still don't have the answer. And I don't think so that's going to work, no matter how much we are trying to find out. Maybe under this video's comments, I will get another comment like hydrogen has some future. I do not see, based on the evidence, based on the time and energy that everyone has tried. So now let's look a bit further. These are the major names when it comes to automotive manufacturing and the suppliers. This is a supplier called AISIN. And let's see what they have. AISIN core technologies, gear case, motor. I know it from their automatic transmission time, because I was working at Schaeffler at that time, and AISIN had a huge market business for Toyota, and everybody wanted a slight bit of pie from Toyota, but it was really difficult because AISIN was really into it. They had EXL as well. Also, unfortunately, I do not have the time to see what ZF is doing, but they have this innovation platform for software-defined vehicle, and I'm not sure what they are presenting over here, but looks and feels nice. I just do not know what it is. I don't have the time to find it all as well. So I've seen over here mostly it's called A2, I think so, and the most amount of players that are working over here right now or presenting their solution is more about autonomous driving. So the companies, for example, over here at my back, it's a company called Momenta, and they are presenting a car I do not know, but I need to find out its specs. But they're also showing their autonomous level driving, what it can do. But that's not the only company, because I will show you another. I mean, you have seen BorgWarner was there as well. But here's another one which did a huge press release with BMW. It's Snapdragon, Qualcomm, and they were showing how they have worked with BMW iX3 Neue Klasse to really work from scratch for their ADAS, and how it's going to improve extreme level of authority, or actually how they have implemented really great technology into it. So they have brought some car over here as well. Not sure what it is. So this is more like the theme of this exhibition. It's all software-defined vehicles. It's all probably around autonomous driving, and also AI. That's the term I've seen it so many times today, or over the last 3 days. It's always said AI, domain intelligent demonstration vehicle. Wherever you just see, these are the 3-4 words that are going to be present. This is what it's a trend. That's what's going to happen. What is this? Giraffe Vision become world's leading visual interactive technology company. Again, it has to be something like an AI. And again, I am going to show you, but for example, 2-3 days ago, I was over here. I was able to see the batteries. So there's also a battery player called Goshen or Gotyon. I don't know how to pronounce it. But this was the first time I've seen a solid state, how it could look like. So this is a cell, or let's say a pouch. And when it's going to come and materialize, this is something I do not know. But what I've heard is that it could take 3-4 years still, and it's not ready yet. It's just a demo is there. But for me, it was really great sight to see for the first time how a solid state battery could potentially look like. Although it's not ready, it's not finalized, it's not 100%. Everybody says it, but yeah. So this is the autonomous shuttle, I would say. And this is a company called Auvetech. They are from Estonia. And according to them, they have driven across some European countries. And one can see that it is being charged as well with a Type 2 cable. It has a battery capacity of around 17 kilowatt hours. That means it can charge with an AC Type 2 charger, maybe perhaps in 1 hour, 1.5 hours. But what I ask is how fast can it drive it? So it can drive up to 25 kilometers per hour. And how long? That was like depending on the country. Is it too hot? Is it too cold? But it has a lot of lidars over here installed. I mean, I'm not sure if you will be able to probably see it. So this car is basically working with right now with a lot of lidars and some cameras. So that's how this technology is basically working. This is also a company I would like to show because they have the immersion cooled batteries. So perhaps we can have a look at their how they are working. I mean, I cannot see all the visuals, but what they have the battery packs, for example, for over there. But if it's an immersion cool, what's happening is that the cells are basically immersed into a liquid. For example, I saw recently it was from Castrol as well as from Total Energies I've seen. So the oil is basically inside the chambers. It could work, what I've seen is with the prismatic cells as well, and also with the cylindrical cells. This was the solution they have. And this immersion cooling technology, recently Mercedes AMG GT XX is also using that. The reason is that you can directly cool each and individual cell that is in the battery basically. And it works really brilliantly with the cylindrical cells because they have huge surface area as well. And finally, I would say that the biggest advantage I found was that it stops the thermal propagation, or it is quite effective against thermal propagation, which is basically in case some cells starts acting differently and in a very short span of time, its temperature is not controlled. It can pass on the energy or the extraordinary heat that it has done into another cell, and then it's like an exponential cycle or chain cycle. And over there, the immersion cooling really helps. Some other companies, again from China, new suppliers. The people are tired, they just want to go at this point in time. This is a station of Togg, and this is a Turkish brand, and they have brought some charging equipment over there. I'm not sure it's their own. It could be, but it could be also white label. But they have brought some electric vehicles over here. Not sure what the price is. Perhaps I will try to find it out if I can. But the cars actually look pretty nice, I would say, at least from the outside. Space this car is, because I think this is one of the electric vehicles. Oh, that's really nice space, I would say. Perfect. The interior seating is also, feels really nice, I would say. And if you're going to look at their driver display, information cluster, they have a really beautiful screen, and there is an infrared sensor, perhaps to recognize if you're sleepy or not. Yeah. The car looks nice. Perhaps I will try to see it later. I think they are doing a nice job. I just do not have a price point because it's quite late at this point in time and there are not a lot of people who can explain what's happening. So I think this is a company called Screen, and what they are trying to do is basically helping OEMs to find basically and connecting directly to the customers. What do I mean by that is basically that you're driving, for example, on the highway or wherever you're driving. If McDonald's wants to give an advertisement, or if they want some sort of promotion, if they want to reach the customer that is driving, and what they can do is they can work with the OEMs. These companies at Screen are going to build a platform for it, with which McDonald's or Lidl, Aldi, I don't know, any name you can think of, they can kind of provide a map point or provide like an advertisement, like where to go for the next McDonald's or Burger King, whatever you like to eat. This is the kind of logic that they can provide their customers with. Not only this, so you can see that they have the branded pins, they have the search, recommendation and detail screen. So what that means is that it lets drivers easily discover locations, and if they are driving somewhere nearby, so they can be recommended where to go, where to find, and also businesses can provide additional information about themselves. So right now I'm at the stand, what I've seen the company over here is Helm Ai, and what they are doing is that they are using AI to provide level 2 plus autonomous driving, and it's also going to come into Honda's latest platform, I would say, by 2026. Let me see how it's called, but yeah, it's a 0 series, so it's going to be the 2026 Honda 0 Series, in which it will be actually level 3 capabilities, and they are using AI to learn the platform, the roads, and then navigating the autonomous driving. So this is the company I've just seen, A2MAC1. I'm not sure what they are doing, but they are saying they are doing energy management strategy, and they have kind of decoded the Chopin G6 rear-wheel drive battery experience, I would say. What are the coolant system, what are the power system? Around the thermal system, it was kind of interesting to see how much kilowatts is being used for refrigerant compressor power, etc. Never thought this data about it before. Also, they have the Audi SQ6 telemetrics ECU. They have a bill of material as well. Like, what are they presenting? I'm not even sure. So I'm standing in front of the company called A2MAC1, and I was here recently, but I did not understand what was the business case, because I could see a Chopin standing over there. It's a G6, but then I was seeing some boards placed over here, for example, the Audi SQ6 telemetrics ECU, and it had the bill of materials written on it, and I'm like, okay, what's happening? What's the business model of this company? And it's quite interesting. And if you're a sales person working at a tier 1 automotive supplier, I think you won't probably like it that much, because I was a sales manager. I worked with a tier 1 automotive supplier, and I was selling components to big OEMs, and their purchasing department is always very difficult to deal with. So what they do is, basically, let me show you. So the main concept this started was purchase a vehicle, break it down, tear it down, and then give the information back to the OEMs what to expect over there, and how the components were built, what were the geometry like, and now they have improved it even further. So I'm not sure if you can see it. I mean, yeah. Yeah, you can see it over here. This is the 3D overview breakdown of a vehicle over here. And what you can do is, basically, you can click on any component would you like. For example, I would like to click over here, and then somehow, I mean, they are not showing completely, but you can completely rotate it, you can see it, and then finally what you can understand is what the material weight is. Also, they can provide information what is the material composition. And finally, they do also the cost engineering for it. So they try to estimate what the material would have costed, how this certain part was created, manufactured, built up, and then they provide this information to OEMs. And the OEMs love it, because they like to purchase this information and compare it against their own benchmarking. So they are doing benchmarking, but now the crazy part. So now they have integrated AI as well. So they have a huge database, and you just need to upload a picture of, let's say, bumper or any other component, let's say, and you say find out similar cost from different cars. They strip a lot of cars actually down, and it will find some relevant examples for you that how much this component costs. And I think this will be a huge database for the purchasing company or purchasing department of OEM, and they are going to press the tier 1 sales manager like hell, because they will actually know. So, and another thing was, for this Chopin G6, what they are doing is they bought this electric vehicle, and what they do is they put it in a freezer, test it under minus 20 degrees centigrade temperatures. They do the charging, and they try to find out how the vehicle is performing, how the charging is performing, how the battery is performing. And here, one thing really interesting I found was that Tesla has a really poor winter range, because it's always trying to heat up under these conditions, and it has always the worst performance among all the battery cells that are present out there. This was kind of new information that I've never heard before, but something to keep in your thoughts. Next time, if somebody says that Tesla's winter range performance is kind of not that good, you know why. So really nice work, what I say, but with the addition of AI and everything, this is not going to be a lot of fun for companies. That's I promise. Of AI, I mean, this is, if it works the way it should work, and the AI does not mess up, I mean, imagine the amount of database you have, amount of data you have at your hand as your OEM. You do a partnership with them, and you just upload a picture of some component, and it's going to compare and find a benchmark and give you an estimation how much there is a potential to reduce the cost. For example, some panelists might be using 23 fasteners, and it can give you an information. The other one is using like 15 or 16, and you as an OEM like, okay, let's optimize it. But jokes aside, I think this is going to push the industry further, and we will see better cars due to it, and also hopefully much more affordable cars, because the OEMs will know how to make really good cars at lower prices, and hopefully this will then benefit us consumers. So here behind me is the Mercedes AMG GT XX. This is a car you might have read in the headlines, and also I've written about it, around the world in 8 days, or let's say 7.5 days, or to be very accurate, 7 days, 13 hours and 24 minutes. And what does it mean? They travel with this car, actually not one car, they travel with two cars, 40,075 kilometers at Italy's Nürburgring. So this was the first part. Second part is that which infrastructure they use. So that's the Alpitronic HYC 1000, and this is a split variant. So what does it mean? It has a separate power unit. If you want to find out how they have covered these distances, how they have done this amazing record, check out my articles that I've written about it, because it's an amazing achievement, I have to say. Because before this car, the endurance record of EVs or hypercars, let's say, first, it was created by Xiaomi YU7 at 3,944 kilometers. But then came XPeng P7 on 15th of August. They did around 3,961 kilometers, which was around 17 kilometers more. But here comes Mercedes in the picture. On the first day of their testing, they broke the record by 38%. So they traveled 5,479 kilometers. And to imagine what they did next is even crazier. They broke the record of XPeng P7, or let's say Xiaomi YU7, 7 days consecutively by 34%, because they average each day around 5,300 kilometers. And this is a marvelous achievement, I would say. And the battery, as I mentioned, they were using is cylindrical cells. It's directly cooled. And the motors they are using is also from YASA. It's a company that is owned by Mercedes. But this time they were using axial motors instead of radial motors that we all know. It has much higher torque, it has much higher power density. So great job, Mercedes, and really happy to see it. And also one more thing, with that charger, we have seen the charging peak to be 1,041 kilowatts. And to put that in perspective, BYD, Togg L, and also the Han L, they charge at 1,001 or 1,002 kilowatts. And Mercedes also broke their record by around 3.9%. So congratulations, really great work. So for me, that are the two highlights that I've seen over here, the BMW iX3 Neue Klasse and this car. It's absolutely amazing what they have done. And now I'm going to check the GLC as well. So let's have a look at the car. Kind of looks pretty nice, I would say. And really nice profile. The back volume, I would say it's 570 liters, but at the front, we have just seen the front, it was 128 liters. So I'd say from the design side, finally I can see that there's a huge improvement. There's a lot of space to put your Kinderwagen, I would say, but also on the other side you put a lot of, let's say, luggages as well. This is going to be Mercedes GLC EQ. It's a Neue platform, I would say, when it comes to electric vehicles, and the starting price will be around 70,000 euros. The battery capacity is around 94 kilowatt hours, and the DC charging of this car will be around 330 kilowatts. And also the battery, what I've heard, it's NCM battery types, and it's going to be prismatic cells. So this is all what I've heard about it, but it seems like it has really cool function when it comes to especially, let's see, what can we do over here? But if you look at the beautiful display, it's coming from all the way up to here. Probably this is the camera, or maybe this is an infrared sensor, if I'm not sure. But if it is, then it's basically recognizing if I'm sleeping or not. The front over there, it's 128 liters. On the back, it's 570 liters. So it offers a lot of space. The materials, the look, I mean, it is something that somebody would like or not. But I would say that depending on the speakers, how the look actually are quite nice. And you feel quite premium over there. I mean, I do not know how to do one further thing I just saw recently. Yeah, that will be the it. So let's do like this. So, okay, I will just turn it off. And we can see that for sun, it's going to look really beautiful. Now let's try turning it off. Now, I really like it. The steering wheel and everything. So, nice job, Mercedes, I would say. And one more thing. The driving range of this car is going to be around 575 to 570 kilometers. So, because it has a drag coefficient of around 0.26. So, congratulations, and let's see. Wishing all the success to Mercedes with this car. The space at the back for the CLA EQ shooting brake is around 455 liters. The limousine version, it has around 405 liters, but it's not all because it has also a frunk, and the frunk is roughly around 101 liters. Let's see if I can open it. The CLA EQ shooting brake from the inside. This is the infotainment touchscreen over here, but over here you can see also the sunscreen over here. So for example, right now it's completely opaque, but if you would like to have some design over here, so this is the motive version, and finally it's going to be the clear version. Yes, this is clear. And the infotainment, so there's a driver instrument cluster. I don't know the exact dimensions of it. There's an infotainment touchscreen and also for the passenger. And I would say the steering wheel kind of feels nice. The materials also feel nice, but in GLC, I would say they were much better. Not sure about the prices, but over there we are hearing about 70,000 plus. Over here, maybe 60,000 euros plus. The battery over there is around 94 kilowatt hours. Here it is 85 kilowatt hours. So the range for the CLA EQ shooting brake is around 750 around kilometers, but for the limousine version, it is around 792 kilometers on a single charge. This car is built up on 800 volt battery architecture, which means it can charge easily above 200 kilowatts. And according to the reports or the Mercedes claim, it can charge with 320 kilowatts DC power. The only thing that's kind of not the positive sign, but next year they are going to bring, there is a missing inverter, which means that this car cannot charge with any infrastructure that supports 400 volts on the output. And this is basically a lot of old chargers, let's say, which were installed somewhere around 2017, 2018, and these do not support. But talking about Alpitronic's new chargers, like 50 kilowatts, it will be easily supported. So I would really like to test drive this car and give my feedback. Was it difficult to charge this car? Was it kind of easy? And what were my first impressions, I would say? I think they have done a really good job. The infotainment system looks pretty nice, but yeah, GLC is the car. If you can compromise on the range, it looked really good. It felt also really good. But if it's the starting price is 70,000 euros, I think you can easily configure up to somewhere about 85 to 90,000 euros. Whereas the CLA EQ, depends what could be the top point. But again, I've heard this car could be ready to be ordered by this year. If you are going to order by next year, spring, it's going to come with a inverter, which is going to support also 400 volt charging. So overall, I say Mercedes has done a brilliant job, and they have shown their capability with Mercedes AMG GT XX. But on the other hand, they have now really new language of the cars. For example, we just saw CLA EQ, but not just CLA EQ, it's the GLC EQ. Looks very nice car. And BMW is doing also a great job. So I would say that overall this IAA mobility, although it was dominated by Chinese, although there were a lot of OEM suppliers, but it was kind of positive for the European market as well, because one can say that two companies have done a great job, namely BMW iX3 for the Neue Klasse, and the other one is Mercedes AMG GT XX. They both have shown that the technology is there, they know how to use it, and they have proven it over the last few weeks. So I'm really excited about what the future is, but overall, I think this is the time I have to leave, or maybe just one more, because I've just seen Opel, so they have also really nice cars. They had also a stand with Leapmotor. I was just not able to really see it's a Grandland, electric all-wheel drive car. It starts, oh wow, it's not only with 37,000 euros, so okay, that's confusing, but by the time you are configuring it, perhaps you're like 60,000, 61,000 euros. But how this car looks like, I'm not sure if it's closed or it's still open. I think it's still open. So let's have a look. How does this car feel like? Opel belongs to Stellantis, or before that it was the German OEM, then it belongs to PSA. or Peugeot, basically what I wanted to say. And so when these cars basically come out, so one thing we have to always remember is that they have to use the scale effect, which means that they will try to utilize as much as same components basically over a lot of other companies. Basically, it will be like Opel, it will be Peugeot, it will be Fiat, and I think it's also Chrysler. So they will try to use the same components across multiple platforms, and which ends up happening is that you save a lot of money. How does the car feel like? I say pretty nice actually. The way it looks, the steering wheel, the seats are a bit too tight for my liking, but perhaps it's the sports version, it could be. So you can see that the steering wheel looks nice. It's plastic, but it looks like carbon fiber. Standard things, as well as the panoramic roof. How does the cup holder works? Okay, understood. Or you could have like that, or you could have like that. Pretty nice. There's something to charge as well. How does the infotainment system work? Let's see. Okay, where to? Application drawer. What is ADAS? Let's see. Panoramic camera lane. It's excessive speed warning, speed limit, change sound, traffic sign recognition. Basically, almost the basic stuff. What is kind of? Okay. Okay, nice. Let me see what's back. Stop it. And okay, that's how it is basically. So I would say it's easy, it's simple. If you're not overwhelmed by a lot of big infotainment touchscreens or a lot of driver cluster, then I think this is a really nice car to sit in because you will feel comfortable. You will not be overwhelmed by the technology, and all the while doing the basic functions like driving to the place where you want to go. And yeah, I think this is a nice car. And let's find out how much space does it has in the trunk basically, because if this is short SUV, what I would like to see is that if it can fit people of 4 family, if they can fit in their child stroller, or if they can fit in their suitcases. So I think the trunk is also open. Let's find out in the trunk. So it's quite late. I cannot find somebody who can tell me what the space is basically. I cannot give a accurate number, but perhaps it's like 470 to 510 liters. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. But yeah, I like the design language, at least I would say that. The way it looks from the outside. It's just that the infotainment is easy to follow. I'm a person who likes like a bit more on the infotainment side. So at the end, it's all preference. So if you like cars with much more technology, you want the infotainment system to be really mega, really huge, then perhaps you will not like it. But if you're like, yeah, I don't really care, that is really, really nice car. I also saw Xiaomi YU7. I think they have closed it. Let me see if it's closed already. Otherwise, I will try to. They have closed it. This was the car. This was the Xiaomi YU7 they have brought over here. Cannot sit over here. They are showing the prices of YU7. You have to keep in mind, WLTP is like 17% lower than CLTC, so it's more like 650, I don't know, maybe kilometers. But Xiaomi YU7 Max is like 101 kilowatt hours battery pack, 760 kilometers of range. And the price is around 39,000. But I think these are prices in China. So, and really, really good prices. But if you're going to bring this car into Europe, I think we are going to talk about a completely different price level, because there are going to be some tariffs as well. There are going to be logistics fees. So the price level that we have seen over here is probably not the one that is 100% accurate. So the other cars from Leapmotor, I mean, the color looks actually nice, but everybody is gone, and I have to run as well. This was a walking tour. I've never done this before, so if it was poor, please have some tolerance and forgive me. But do let me know as well in the comments, what would you like to see more? And it will help me basically to do more research for the next time I'm coming to such tours, and then I can make much better videos actually. Thank you so much for watching. I would really appreciate if you found something insightful. Share it, like the video, and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, leave your feedback. See you again. Thank you.